Welcome to Easy English, your go-to channel for improving your English and life.
Have you ever looked at someone who's achieved something amazing? Mastering a skill, building a business, maybe transforming their health, and you just think, they must have some kind of secret weapon.
Oh, absolutely. It's so easy to think that, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
they were born with more talent, or they're just luckier, or have this a bottomless well of motivation.
Right. We see the result, that success that seems to pop up overnight.
Yeah, the highlight reel. But we almost never see the years sometimes of just grinding it out that led up to that moment.
We blame it on talent or luck.
When actually the real power behind it is often much, much quieter.
More fundamental, really.
And that is simply showing up day after day.
Exactly.
Not even perfectly right or doing something
yeah.
huge every time, but just consistently making that choice to do the thing, even when you really don't feel like it.
It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But if you really look at how big changes happen in careers, relationships, even within ourselves, it's almost always built on that foundation of consistent, often kind of unspectacular daily effort. It feels like a universal principle, almost. So today, let's really dig into why this is so incredibly powerful.
Yeah, let's unpack that. Understand the mechanics, the unexpected benefits.
And how just committing daily doesn't just change what you do, but actually reshapes who you become.
It's a profound shift.
Okay, so let's start with that big one. Talent versus consistency. We're kind of obsessed with natural talent, aren't we?
We are. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Talent might give you a head start. It might make the first few steps feel, easier.
Gets you in the door faster, maybe.
Right. But the success that lasts, the kind that really builds over time, that almost always belongs to the people who just keep showing up consistently.
So the talented person might just coast, work only when inspiration strikes.
It can happen. They might rely on that gift. But contrast that with someone maybe with less raw talent who commits to practice every single day, learning, putting in the effort, day in, day out. Over time, that consistent person, they're going to surpass the inconsistent one, almost inevitably. It doesn't matter how gifted the other person is if they don't consistently apply it.
Okay, so talent opens the door, but consistency builds the entire house.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's the engine, really, the engine of progress.
Yeah.
And this connects directly to that myth of overnight success.
Ah, yes, the overnight success that took 10 years.
Exactly. We see the bestseller list, the hit product, the acclaimed artist, and the story is always sudden fame.
Like they just woke up famous. Poof.
Right. But it's almost never like that. What you're seeing is the peak, the result of potentially years, sometimes decades of work nobody saw.
Like the writer who just wrote a page every single day.
Or the entrepreneur who failed, tweaked the idea, showed up the next day, tried again. The musician practicing scales when no one was listening.
That period of obscurity, showing up without any applause, that's where the real work happens.
That's where the foundation gets laid. So the overnight success wasn't sudden at all. It was just the moment all that relentless daily effort finally tipped the scale.
He was built brick by brick, day by day.
Precisely. Which leads us to maybe the most powerful effect of doing things daily, compounding.
Okay, the compound effect, like money in the bank. Right. Interest, earning interest.
Exactly like that. But it applies just as powerfully to our actions, our habits, our skills.
So my tiny efforts today aren't just adding up, they're multiplying.
They are multiplying. Think about it, right? Just say 500 words a day.
Right.
Seems small, right?
Manageable.
But do that consistently. That's easily a novel draft in 6 months. Or practice an instrument for just 20 minutes daily. You'll be conversational or playing songs much faster than you think.
Or 30 minutes of exercise.
Transforms your health over months. It's like those small daily deposits. They seemed insignificant at first, but eventually the balance just explodes.
Wow. Okay. And the key is you don't have to do everything all at once.
Not at all. Just consistently do something, one thing. And this applies everywhere. Habits, knowledge, relationships, health. Each positive action builds on the last. It creates this momentum.
It's like a flywheel. Hard to get going initially.
Yeah, exactly. But once it's spinning, it's incredibly powerful and hard to stop.
That makes so much sense. Okay, so if talent isn't the main thing and compounding is how it works, what keeps it going? It doesn't sound like it's about waking up feeling super motivated every day.
And that's such a crucial point. So many of us wait for motivation. We think we need to feel inspired or energized or, in the mood to work on our goals.
Yeah, I definitely fall into that trap, waiting for the right feeling.
We all do. But motivation is Well, it's fickle, isn't it? It depends on your mood, how much sleep you got, what happened yesterday. Relying on it is like riding an emotional roller coaster. You're often stuck at the bottom.
So what's the alternative?
Discipline.
Huh. The slightly less fun word.
Maybe. But discipline isn't about feeling like it. It's about making the choice to do it anyway, regardless of how you feel. It's choosing action over emotion.
Okay, so motivation.
Yeah.
A feeling. Discipline. A choice.
Perfectly put. And developing that discipline, that ability to show up, even when it's boring or hard or you're tired or discouraged, that's where the real power comes from.
It frees you from being hostage to your feelings.
It does. That consistent application of effort driven by choice, not mood, is what actually builds that compounding effect we talked about.
That feels like the real advantage then, being able to act even when you yourself don't really want to.
It truly is. And beyond the results, you can see the finished project, the career advancement, this daily commitment has some really profound effects inside us, psychologically.
Okay, this is fascinating. How does just showing up change us internally?
Well, one of the biggest things is how it builds self-trust and confidence.
So.
Think about it. Every single time you choose to show up for that commitment, write the page, do the workout, meditate for 5 minutes, whatever it is you're sending a message to yourself.
What kind of message?
The message is, hey, I can rely on me. You're proving your own dependability to yourself.
Through repeated action. You're collecting evidence.
Exactly. And that builds this internal foundation of trust. The confidence that comes from that isn't dependent on outside praise or results. It's knowing you have the grit to follow through. That quiet belief in your own ability to persevere, that's incredibly powerful.
And I bet that predictability, knowing you can rely on yourself, probably helps with things like anxiety, too.
It really does. Life is chaotic, uncertain. That's breeding ground for anxiety. But when you introduce consistent daily practices, journaling, a walk, working on something specific, you create pockets of structure, predictability.
So routine isn't boring or restrictive, it's grounding.
It's absolutely grounding. Having that sense of control, even in one small area, amidst all the uncertainty, is a huge antidote to stress. It cuts down on decision fatigue, too. You don't have to constantly decide what to do or if you'll do it.
It frees up mental energy.
Exactly. Creates a bit of stability. And there's actual brain science behind this. It's not just a feeling.
Okay, tell me about that.
Well, repeated actions, especially consistent ones, literally strengthen the neural pathways in your brain associated with that action.
Like carving a path.
Kind of, yeah. The more you do something, the easier and more automatic that pathway becomes. That's how habits are formed biologically.
So showing up actually gets easier over time because your brain physically adapts.
Precisely. You're rewiring your brain to make that good habit more natural. And at the same time, you're often weakening the pathways for habits you don't want. It's physical change.
Wow. And does it help with focus too? Our attention span seems so short these days.
Yes, definitely. Regularly engaging in a specific activity, even for a short period, trains your brain's ability to focus, to block out distractions. It helps you get into that state of flow more easily over time.
Where you're just fully immersed.
And it cultivates mindfulness, too, just by requiring you to be present in that moment, doing that one thing, which is also great for managing anxiety and scattered thoughts.
So showing up daily isn't just about getting better at the task. It actually makes you a more focused, grounded, confident person overall.
It's like an internal upgrade, exactly. And that internal shift, it absolutely impacts how you show up in the professional world.
Okay, let's talk about that. How does this seemingly simple act give you an edge in your career or business?
Well, think about any workplace. Reliability is like gold dust, isn't it?
Absolutely. You want people you can count on.
Right. So being the person who's consistently prepared, who delivers on time, who's focused, that makes you invaluable. Managers notice it, colleagues notice it, clients notice it. Showing up consistently builds that reputation for dependability.
You become known as the person who gets things done, the bedrock.
Exactly. And naturally, as you consistently put in the effort, your skills improve. Mastery comes from that repetition. And as your competence grows, opportunities start coming your way.
Because people want to work with reliable, competent people.
Of course. And sometimes these are opportunities you couldn't have even planned for.
How do you mean?
Well, maybe your consistent contributions in meetings lead to a leadership opportunity. Or your daily work on a side project builds up this amazing portfolio that attracts an investor you never expected.
So consistency creates a kind of positive visibility and momentum.
Yes. It positions you to be in the right place with the right skills and the right reputation, when luck or opportunity appears. You're ready for it because you've been showing up.
We're stacking the deck in your own favor, not just waiting for luck.
You are. And a key part of that is building tangible proof. Your daily work adds up. It accumulates into a portfolio, a track record.
The receipts, as you said before.
Exactly. Code you wrote, designs you made, reports you completed, sales figures, whatever it is. It's hard evidence of your capability. That's incredibly powerful when you're looking for a raise or pitching a project or applying for a new role.
It proves you can walk the walk.
Built one day at a time. And there's a leadership aspect too, isn't there? It's not just about your own progress.
How does showing up influence others?
It's leadership by example, pure and simple. When people see you consistently committed, disciplined, focused on what matters, it's inspiring. You model the behavior.
Actions speak louder than words.
They really do. Leadership isn't just a title, it's influence. And showing up daily with purpose and integrity, that's incredibly influential. It communicates dedication without having to say a word.
Okay, so if daily consistency builds self-trust, creates opportunities, inspires others, it sounds like it's doing something much deeper than just changing results. It's changing you.
That might be the most profound piece of it all. You don't just do consistent actions. You actually become the kind of person who does those things.
Every action is like a vote.
Exactly. A vote for the identity you want to have. Show up to write every day. You're voting, I am a writer. Doesn't matter if you're published yet.
Show up for your workout. You're voting, I am a healthy, active person.
Show up to help a colleague. Vote for, I am a supportive teammate. That identity isn't given to you by someone else. You build it with your behavior.
And this ties into identity-based motivation, right?
Yes. When your actions align with how you see yourself or want to see yourself, you're not just relying on willpower anymore. You act because, well, that's just who you are.
It becomes less effortful over time.
It does. Showing up daily reinforces that positive self-image, which makes it easier to keep showing up. It's a virtuous cycle. Behavior and identity strengthen each other.
So the aim isn't just, say, to finish the project, but to become the kind of person who finishes projects.
Exactly. You act your way into that new identity. And this applies everywhere, including our relationships.
Right, relationships. How does showing up work there? It sounds less task-oriented.
It is, but the principle holds. Strong relationships, romantic, family, friends, even professional work. They're built on consistent presence and small acts, much more than big, infrequent gestures.
So being reliably there.
Yes. Listening when someone needs an ear, making time, following through on what you say you'll do. These small, daily, consistent things build emotional safety. They make people feel seen and valued.
It's the steady rhythm of connection.
It is. And think about trust. Trust isn't built in one grand moment. It's woven from countless small instances where someone shows up, keeping promises, being supportive, being honest consistently.
That predictability, knowing someone will be there?
It creates incredible stability and security in a relationship. People know they can count on you. That reliability deepens the connection far more than occasional grand gestures ever could.
Okay, this is all incredibly compelling, the power of just showing up. But for someone listening, wanting to embrace this, where do they even begin? It can feel daunting.
Yeah, the thought of every day forever can be overwhelming. The absolute key, start small. Like ridiculously small.
Forget perfection.
Forget perfection entirely. The goal is consistency, not intensity, especially at the start. Pick one tiny action, 5 minutes of focus, write one sentence, do 2 push-ups, meditate for 1 minute. Make it so easy you literally can't say no.
Focus on just doing the action, not the huge end goal.
Exactly. The outcome will take care of itself over time. Your only job today is to do the tiny action. Nail the consistency first. You can always scale up later once the habit is there.
And tracking it helps. Seeing the streak.
Oh, massively. Visualizing your progress is huge. Use a calendar, a simple app, a notebook. Put an X for every day you show up. Seeing that chain build, you won't want to break it.
It makes the daily action feel like a win in itself.
It is a win. And celebrate those streaks, those small milestones. Acknowledge the effort. That positive feedback reinforces the behavior, makes it stick.
Okay, so let's say someone's listening. They like the idea, but today they just have zero motivation. What do they do?
That's when discipline kicks in. Remember, choice over feeling. Understand that those zero motivation days will happen. They're actually the most important days.
Why?
Because showing up then, even for the bare minimum, builds the most self-trust. It strengthens that discipline muscle like nothing else. Just do the tiny thing anyway.
And how long until you see actual results from all this showing up?
You might feel better, more in control almost immediately just from taking action. But the big, visible results, mastering the skill, finishing the thing that takes time, weeks, months, sometimes longer.
Like planting a seed.
Exactly like that. You water it daily, show up. But nothing seems to happen for ages. Under the surface, though, roots are growing deep. Then eventually it sprouts. Be patient. Trust the process.
What if life gets in the way? You miss a day. Is it all ruined?
Absolutely not. Life is messy. Things happen. The goal isn't perfect attendance, it's resilience. The key is, try not to miss 2 days in a row.
Bounce back quickly.
Yes. Acknowledge you missed, don't beat yourself up, and just get right back on track the next day. That recovery is part of strengthening the habit.
Okay, so to recap the how-to for building the habit.
Start tiny, make it incredibly easy, link it to something you already do if possible, like 5 minutes of writing after your morning coffee. Track it. And focus on the action, not the outcome. Just show up.
It really feels liberating, doesn't it? Realizing that huge achievements aren't just for the super talented. They're available to anyone who's consistently committed.
The power isn't in those rare flashes of brilliance. It's in the quiet, steady rhythm of just showing up day after day.
That daily persistence, it rewires your brain, builds trust in yourself, makes you resilient.
And it compounds into a life with real impact. You don't need to be the best or the most gifted or the most motivated person in the room.
You just need to be the one who keeps showing up.
That's where the transformation happens. It's accessible. It just demands commitment.
Truly powerful stuff.
It really is.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening today. Is there just one small area, one goal, one habit where you could commit to showing up daily? Maybe just for 5 minutes. What could that look like for you? And could you start today?